Nick.
Yes, Greg.
It's your topic.
All right, my
but
topic.
first, another sponsorship opportunity has been brought to the table by the one and only Tim Gettys. This one is Squarespace. Now, this is one we're familiar with.
We love Squarespace.
Why?
Because we made kindafunny.com on Squarespace.
Kindafunny.com.
Squarespace.
Just
no.
you
gotta go to bed.
You just
rest.
rest. You just rest.
Rest your eyes.
Yeah.
You use Squarespace for
I
this.
did. I used Squarespace for it. They tout that it's very easy to use. And
Would you describe it as simple?
I would.
Powerful?
Very much so.
Beautiful.
Very much so.
Did you know that for only $8 a month, you can get a free domain if you buy Squarespace for the year?
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Did you know that if you go to Squarespace right now, you can start a free trial with no credit card required by simply building your website? You go there. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use the offer code KINDAFUNNY, all one word, to get 10% off your first purchase and to show your support for our show.
That's awesome. So here's the thing.
Awesome, yeah.
You guys should go to kindafunny.com and just look at it and see how cool it is. And that's all done in Squarespace.
Yeah,
that was Nick,
it's,
who doesn't have too
don't
much experience
know
with
anything
web
about
stuff.
HTML programming. I know design layout, things like that. I have a kind of understanding of what I like aesthetically.
Yeah.
Squarespace is one of those places where if you need to get your website up fast, like for instance, if you're quitting your job of 9 years and Greg Miller says, "Hey, is that website ready yet?" And you're like, "Shit, I got to get that done in like 2 days."
So you'd say you respond. It says responsive design. You'd agree with that?
I would. It's cool. So how Squarespace works is you pick a template, and then you can kind of literally click on things and move them around and put spacers in, and just it's very intuitive. It takes you about I'm not very smart when it comes to web stuff and web tools, but it took me maybe an hour max to figure out, oh, this is kind of all the tools at my disposal. This is how everything works. And then I would start banging out pages. So
banging out those pages,
and it's cool. And it's if you've got a portfolio site or if you're selling a product, they've got a lot of tools built in there. It's pretty robust. It's pretty awesome.
It helped us. It can help you. Go there. Use the code KINDAFUNNY. One word. Get 10% off your first purchase. Nick, what's your topic?
My topic, of course, comes from the community on Twitter. If you have a topic for this show, tweet at Nick_Scarpino with your topic suggestion, and maybe I'll read it, just like Plotsky Jason. That's his name. Says, GOG topic, hashtag GOG topic. A man in Russia is going to get his head transplanted to another
like
body.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Thoughts on this and similar procedures? Now, before we proceed, I'm adding an additional topic to this.
You're doing a topic within a topic.
I'm going to add, not a topic within a topic, but as we unpack the criteria of this topic, I'm putting another piece of criteria onto that. I'm also I will give a prize to whoever can make the best lose your head joke.
Okay. I'm caught up. I'm caught up. All right.
Organically.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, no, I know. No, we're not trying to do it.
Let's think about this for a second. First off, I want to give a shout out to Greg stopping a sneeze, perhaps?
No, that was just Nick inceptioning me and how much he was giving me a headache immediately.
Okay.
I have been snopping sneezes the left and right leg.
Yeah.
Snopping,
Stopping.
you've been
I messed that up too. It's man, life is really, really hard.
Yeah.
But my question is, what does this mean? Head transplant?
So I have not read the story. Colin, you read the story, did you not?
Yeah, this is
I
all
did.
Phantom Pain tie-in. This is
Talk
very
for
well.
a moment. I'll bring a story up for you.
So basically on NeoGAF, a bunch of people put together the real story of this guy who wants to do a head transplant, the fact that he looks just like the doctor in Metal Gear Solid, the Phantom Pain, and people are saying it's one crazy coincidence. But I say no. There's been a rip-off IP infringement.
So here's the story, and this is from The Independent from 6 days ago. By Andrew Griffin. It says, head transplant, man will be attached to new body in under an hour and aim is immortality, doctor says. Surgeon Sergio...
what with immortality?
The aim is immortality.
We're fucking...
Surgeon Sergio Canavero, who there's a Metal Gear Solid 5 connection to this, has vowed, and it really is, has vowed to go to China if he is banned from doing it everywhere else, arguing that the transplant has political meaning, and some of the internet claim it might all be a marketing stunt. The Italian doctor who has claimed that he could transplant a man's head onto a donor's body has said that he could do much of the procedure in less than an hour. The procedure, which Canavero has admitted is just the first step towards his ultimate aim of creating immortality, will see a man's head removed and placed on a donor's body. That will see the man's head get cooled. Then that will see the man's head get cooled down, as it is when the doctors operate on some parts of the brain, and switched onto a different body. Doctors will then have a few minutes to attach the blood vessels, and the whole thing will take less than an hour. Canavero said.
Bullshit. God, I guess
After that,
the provide on that one.
After that, the full joining process could take up to 24 hours. Canavero said that it would be carried out by a team of doctors to ensure that none of them got tired, and that doctors and surgeons from around the world had inquired about joining that team. Canavero said that he will explain the procedure in depth at a neurosurgeons conference on June 12th. Quote, I'll prove it is totally possible to all of the skeptics there, end quote. So we'll know more.
All right. So is this some Kojima bullshit?
Well, this isn't. So this is all tied back. You caught up with the whole story about how this doctor looks just like the doctor in Phantom Pain, like to a T.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's actually like thinking about suing Konami and all this kind of stuff over it because like it is like ridiculous.
That's what Konami needs right now.
Yeah. You better get in while the going's good. It's an interesting story. It doesn't listen. It sounds fantastic and crazy, but the things that we've been doing with technology and medical care and all that kind of stuff doesn't make it sound. It sounds.
It's not headed in the right direction.
Oh.
Fuck. That was good.
That
was good.
I feel like it's highly improbable, but not impossible. But if it, I mean, I don't know if this guy. I don't know anything about this guy. I mean, he could be a quack, but I don't think he is. I think he's a pretty legit neuroscientist.
But wait, okay, so
June 12th is the Friday before E3. Just saying.
that is something.
I ain't falling for it, Kojima.
My question here is: so it's if we put my head on Nick's body,
Yeah.
it's me.
Yeah, it would be you.
It would be
Oh
you.
my fucking god.
It'd be me just because of my
your brain.
Just because of your brain.
Okay, I get that. But
You'd
so
be, like,
this
shorter, though.
science, you're telling me then that like you can take my head and stuff, and so all the stuff that makes me is just in my head, and then I can attach it to other
your
organs.
penis is in your body.
entirely, and then I'm just it'll just work. Like that sounds
Keep
like
in mind,
a
we
little too
can't.
complicated.
Yeah, we can't solve spinal injuries in the same body. That's the thing. That's like a deal breaker for me. Is that you're gonna do this, give somebody else everything, and then they're just gonna be able to walk around no problem. Not
And it's
like
only gonna be an
immediately,
hour.
obviously.
I feel like
that's
by
the
time
other.
people show
bullshit.
off about it, it's like
but what he's saying is, I mean, to his credit, what he's saying is that the integral like connections that will make this fatal need to be done and will be done in an
Like
hour.
he has to reattach
and
the
then
jugular, the
day,
spine.
They need a
like-
day. He said.
Oh, okay, I follow.
24 full hours to finish it.
Because I mean,
oh, okay.
so basically, you cut the head off. You got to reattach the blood supply to the brain like immediately, and some way for the body to get oxygen. My question is, who's the donor body, and how does that work? Where you're like,
Car accident.
but like, it's got to be someone that's on life support right now, right?
Oh, that's a good point too.
That person has to be still living.
Presumably, you
otherwise-
have to be. It could be like someone in a vegetative state where they
Right.
kill them. And then the crazier thing is that they then have to decapitate that person.
alive. Alive.
In a very specific way. I bet.
Guillotine.
It sounds crazy, but I just don't know why a doctor. I just
Get him.
It's like a Lego.
to me, I just don't know why a
It's too
doctor
late.
of some repute or I shouldn't say repute, a doctor of some fame that he's being invited to speak at a neuroscience convention, there must be on paper maybe so, and again who the fuck really knows, but there must be some way where like he's figured it out, he thinks. But to Greg's point, there seems to be way more simple things that we can't figure out, and I'm not
Right.
saying that any medicine is simple. I'm just saying that you would think that like correcting spine problems would be
Yeah, like
more
we
easy
haven't
than
solved
decapitating a
paralysis.
body off a vegetative person or a head of a vegetative person and then putting a new head on it. That seems like a pretty complicated
Yeah, I
ordeal.
mean, okay.
It's very
so I'm
Frankensteinish.
very ignorant when it
Little
comes to this, but are we even at a point where it's like you can put someone else's legs on somebody?
Yeah, I mean, you can actually, if people get their arms cut off, they can put them back on and sew them back in. That's easier because it's just muscular, and the bones, if you put them in the right this place, will fuse back together with each other.
Wait.
You can sew all the tendons and stuff back in
Really? That's the thing. Like, why are
I think
there
they can
people
do
with,
that.
like metal arms and stuff then?
because
well, because I think that's I mean
This has to happen like as
yeah, like
right
if
in
you
the
lose your
moment.
finger, they can sew it back on. It just has to happen quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like if you like,
Oh.
didn't Bobbitt get his penis cut off?
Yeah, and they
Or-
put
and
it
then they
back
put
on.
it back on. So like and that was in
It's
the
a
90s.
little
So like it's not
disgusting.
It's not a matter. But I think.
gnarly
But
shit.
again, I don't know if you could like
upside down.
lose
He's
your
in a point.
legs, and I think that like they're figuring out with prosthetic legs and things that are like made of titanium and all those kinds of things. But theoretically, I suppose unfortunately we have a doctor in the house that we can't really talk to, I guess. But my whole thing is
that's that's a fascinating coincidence.
yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, he can come to the door and yell in at us.
yeah, but I don't think we want to go there.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just interested in the viability of all this. But it seems like if you lost a leg, I guess if you were right there and they could do it
Like hot tub time
quickly, I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
okay, so is there, like-
you have to be really headstrong to want to do this surgery. See what I did there? No,
It took a second.
Damn it.
Yeah, no.
Get it all out, guys. Come on.
But all right, so right now,
Working out the kinks
Working
an
out
hour and a
if they're
half
going,
into the
if
show.
they're going for the head thing, like with the legs shit, can they cut someone's leg off and then use somebody that's like in a
a different
vegetable
person's
state
legs.
or whatever? And do they do that? That's the thing they do.
That I am
No,
unsure.
Oh, I
that is
don't-
not
I
a
don't
thing
know. I
they
don't-
do. They
doesn't
do
sound
not use veg. I don't think they use people in vegetable states.
Vegetative
states.
Man,
I
we
don't-
are definitely doctors over here.
I don't think they do that because I think it's highly unethical. And you'd actually probably have to sign a release saying.
Well, I
hey,
mean, that's
my
the thing.
leg.
Like,
You're an organ donor.
yeah,
They might. I don't think they do it in this country. We also have a lot of really weird like laws against stuff like that in this country. I feel like Europe's a lot more liberal when it comes
Staying
to like,
away these stem cells.
hey, we
forever.
can like fix your back really easily by not fusing it together. You know, they do all sorts of crazy stuff in like Germany. But it's fascinating because, like, to the best of my knowledge, we don't really have. I don't know where the medical profession has progressed as far as paralysis is concerned, and like, you know, if people have severe spinal injuries, you know, you could be completely paralyzed from your neck down. This could be some way of fixing that to some degree, right? Because you're getting sort of an entirely new. But how does that work? You have to get like how would you even come close to reconnecting all of those delicate connections with the brain?
Yeah, it's
like,
hard. I mean, with all these questions, it's hard to make head or tails about like what is going on in terms of like the guy has a paralyzed body.
Okay. I like that.
And
That's good.
Like presumably the guy who has the head must have a paralyzed body of some sort, or like the thing that I'm crazy about is like why, or that I'm confused about rather, is why we're talking about the vegetative, presumably a person in a vegetative state, right? But we're also ignoring the fact that someone has to get their head cut off of a body that is in some sort of health in order to be put on this body. In other words, there's a risk. We're focusing mostly on the person who is presumably in vegetative state or dead, but we're not talking about the person who's actually risking everything to get their head cut off and put on another body. Like, that's actually the weirder part to me, is like, why is this happening?
why is he doing it though?
I don't know.
Let's take a step back. This is clearly a gimmick or some sort of joke or some sort of PR stunt. From this point forward, we should just talk about this in very theoretical terms, lest we run the risk of sounding
do
completely
people think
absurd.
that this is actually a thing that's really going to happen? Because to me, this sounds like...
I don't think he's got people lined up. In the article, it isn't like he's got two people lined up where he's like, just give me the go-ahead.
Oh,
guillotine.
He has a date?
Let's
There's a date this is happening?
No, it's a date that
it's
he's going to reveal at a neuroscience conference how he does it.
Right. He's not actually,
So it's not actually happening.
It's all hypothetical. It's all academic.
Right.
But again, like, who knows? I mean, like, all I'm saying is that, you know, I am quite a skeptic on a lot of things, and I'm very skeptical of this, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. Could it be some sort of extraordinary miracle? I don't know. I mean, I'm just interested to see what he says. We won't have any more information until June.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. If you read the stuff that they do with stem cells and shit like that, like, who knows? Maybe they can do it. Maybe they're like, we'll just inject him with a little stem cell here, and it'll regrow some spinal column, and I don't know. But I mean, I'm not going to be the guy that tests that theory out. Like, I'll watch you buy the Apple Watch, but I'm not trying to get my head cut off. I was gonna say I'm not trying to lose my head, but I think I already made that joke.
God.
They're getting worse. That's the problem.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
who won your award?
You didn't make one yet.
Oh.
Neither of you did, so I guess it's a moot point.
What?
Who didn't? I made one.
You made one.
You made a good one.
Greg hasn't made one
This will
yet.
be the second time this guy gets some head. All right.
Tim won. Tim,
I got 20 hot
I'm
dogs
buying
to
you
cook.
Starbucks tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's gonna be your reward.
I'm very excited about
There
the
you go.
Starbucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of the Game Over Greggy Show. If you didn't know, each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring... Wow, you were like... That was like the sexual
Time for
one.
bed.
Yeah.
Each bringing a random topic of conversation for your amusement. If you like that, or Nick's rhythmic slapping. Now, you're getting a lot of ring on the slaps.
You also get a lot of head.
You got to make sure that you connect.
If you like the show, you can get it
the
every
wood.
Friday early. Patreon.com/kindafunny. And then if you don't want to give us any money, no big deal. Go to YouTube.com/kindafunny. Get it broken up topic by topic, day by day on YouTube before we post the entire thing as an MP3 and video. Gentlemen,
Yes.
it was a good show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad we're all back together.
Me
Me
too.
too.
You too, Kev. No problem. Drop some other stuff. I love you, Kevin. Yay, Kevin. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.